and topic moderation is all about tariff barrier and quality certification and global competitiveness. We have Mr. Surana ji. He's going to talk about copper. He's the expert. Mr. Ramesh in the country. I want to move to a commodity question. I'll ask Mr. Devendra Surana sir on copper. So one quick question to you is that while making my presentation also, I gave a presentation, one slide about the demand side perspective. That was one of the avenues, that is data center. My question to you very specifically is that, say something about the demand, how it is looking for next couple of years from here, and if the demand is going to grow, are they going to be sustaining in the long run or not?
Thank you very much for that question. So, what are the three buzzwords today in the world? The three buzzwords today are AI, green energy, and EVs. So, green energy and EVs have been here for a few years. Let me just first talk about EVs. Every EV requires roughly 3 times more copper than a regular IC engine vehicle. So as the growth of EV happens, the use of copper will triple. Second, green energy. Green energy requires roughly about 3.5 times more copper for every megawatt added compared to our traditional power. So that means for every megawatt of power added in green energy, will require 3.5 times more copper. And the latest one, AI. Aurobindo has mentioned in his presentation that we will reach roughly about 10 to 12% of the total production of copper will be used just for AI. From right now, it's almost negligible all over the world, but in US, it's about 2% of the copper consumption. It'll go to 10%. Put together, these three things will really increase the growth of copper consumption throughout the world. Right now, the copper consumption is under control because the real estate sector in China is on a slowdown. But once that picks up also, there'll be a huge demand of copper. On the other side, what is happening about the production? The production is not really going up so much, especially the primary production. All of us know that primary copper is costed as TCRC, that is the treatment charges and the refining charges. From being positive $100, it has gone to negative. That means absolutely no concentrate is available in the world. What is left is copper scrap. And fortunately for us, the utilization of copper scrap, better utilization of copper scrap, is happening all over the world. And while we continue to see reduction of availability of primary copper, I think this shortage has to be met by recycled copper. And that's why I think this sector is really going to grow by leaps and bounds. Luckily for us, the copper intensity in reuse is the highest amongst all metals. We use roughly about 94 to 96% of copper is totally recyclable. So from that point of view, I am really bullish on this sector.
Thank you. So basically, just to comprehend, he talks about the new demand from AI data centers to rise by 8 to 10% of the total consumption. And despite that, if the demand is still not sufficient, then we have to have a high dependency on the recycled copper. As he spoke about the percentage, 94, 95% are recyclable. So I think recycling industry also plays a very important role as the demand grows for copper. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm going to ask you a question. We talked about demand, we talked about supply, and now from India point of view, can India position itself as a global hub for downstream industry for copper, especially manufacturing of wires, tubes, and components, rather than just being a consumption center?
Good question, Arvindo. I think for a very long time, India has been consumption-driven economy. We have the technology, we have the resources, we have everything required to become an international hub for manufacturing value-added products made out of copper. What has been keeping us behind? we've always been a high-cost economy. So if you look at the domestic prices of copper, they are much higher than international prices for whatever, many, many reasons, including customs duty, which is there on copper. Of late, in the last 2 to 3 years, our domestic prices have all come at par with international prices. So now we can compete as equals throughout the world. Still, our economy is growing so fast that most of the manufacturers find it much more valuable to just concentrate on the local market. But with the lowering down of the duties, with ensuring that copper is available at exactly the same price as international material, lot more and more players are going outside India. So, for example, if you look at transformer windings or if you look at bus bars, now India is becoming a leader player all over the world. I feel that slowly over a few years, we can also do it in copper wires and copper pipes. Copper pipes, huge capacity is coming up in India. And maybe in 3 years down the line, we can see that we will become a very competitive hub to export copper.
To export copper.
Yeah, that's what.
I'm
We are
sure.
talking about copper
Yeah.
semis.
Yeah,
When I say copper, I mean copper semis.
that's pretty ambitious that if you could ever do that exports of copper, it's going
We
to be.
do have the technology, we have the capacity, and we are competitive in terms of the conversion cost. It is just that our basic cost of copper in India was higher so far, and therefore we are not competitive.
So now we are at parity.
Now we are getting close to parity,
Close to-
still not there.
Okay.
As soon as we get to parity, I think we'll be able to export much faster.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. That's quite an insight for me as well. Importer, producer, consumer, and as a corporate, Indian corporate, my question is related to the risk management side. On to you, if at all one as a corporate is hedging its physical business risk, and what are the best practices as part of corporate hedging strategies one can use by using various derivatives markets like LME, CME, COMEX, or Shanghai?
Thank you for that question. I think I've been hedging my copper exposure for the last, I think, 17, 18 years now. And I use whatever platform which is available. Started with MCX. I hedge on LME now and CME as well. It depends on your requirement. If you require to hedge it, including the dollar exposure, then MCX looks good. As a short seller, because I'm always long copper in my factory, I prefer to hedge on the exchange which gives me the maximum contango. So if LME is at a bigger contango or MCX is at a bigger contango, I try to switch my positions based on that so that my effective hedging cost comes down to the minimum. As of now, today, MCX seems to be a better option, especially if you have a domestic exposure. If you have a dollar-based exposure, LME can be a good option.
Thank you. I think some of the audience might have understood this, and it is ideal that for a corporate to hedge its exposure. As he mentioned that he is long physical always, so he has to hedge. And it was very deliberately asked question is because some of the participants who want to experience how hedging works is something that to be looked at, and the best thing is to get an answer from somebody who's already using that. Thank you, sir. Thanks. One question, last question. We spoke about non-ferrous metals, various commodities, copper, lead, zinc, aluminium, and the experts have given their thoughts on the market. And Mr. Dhavalji also talked about how the recycling industry is growth. And Ms. Tran also talked about Vietnam and its industry growth. Thank you very much for everyone being here in the program. And just to felicitate, I would like to call Sanjay sir. Please do come and we'll do the felicitation for one of you.